The beauty of balance. Yeah. If you know, if you don't, yeah, I don't know what I'm trying to say, but you guys have seen it, right? The little circle, the yin and yang thing. I try to aspire that. I try to live my life around that type of, you get me, that sort of concept. I love balance. I think balance is, in my opinion, the most important thing. I think when you go on your self improvement journey or you're trying to do anything in life and you're trying to succeed, this, that, it is balance. And so I want to use this as an example. I want to apply this to like a little scenario. So let's say you like show off, right? Let's say you show off to the world or whatever. I don't know where I'm going with this. But it's like you have a really, really big ego, right? And that could obviously either help you or not help you. And that's where the balance comes in. Because if your ego is massive and massive and you keep aiming and striving for these, goals, or you're showing off, you're doing this, being confident, blah, 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 it's probably going to be good for you because you're aiming, really high, you're doing this and that. But if you're aiming too high, if you're starting from a little flipping Jeffrey and you're trying to be flipping, what's his name? Flipping Chris Bumstead. If you're like a gym noob, you're trying to be Chris Bumstead in 6 months, that's simply not achievable, right? A guy's been going to the gym 10 years probably isn't going to look anywhere near like flipping Chris Bumstead, and that's where a lot of people get depressed or off this improvement journey, I think, because their mindset, the way they're trying to achieve something is not very good. The ego is too big. They think they are a lot better than what they are. However, if you take that too far, if you sell yourself short, that obviously leads to the same effect. You're not gonna do something because you're like, I'm not gonna defend anyways. I'm not gonna be like Chris Paul said anyways. So what's the point of trying? So I think that of balancing everything is so important. It's so key when you're doing anything really. When you're working out, when you're doing self improvement or in general. So how do you balance things out? Right? I'll give you. I've told you all this quote unquote fluffy vision. How do I balance? How do I balance everything out? Research. I think in order to know the balance, to know the midpoint of a certain thing, you need to have a somewhat in-depth knowledge of both ends of the spectrum. So, for example, I can't think of an example. So, let's say in self improvement, right? You first know what like the peak spectrum of self improvement is. So, for example, that would be like uh, going to the gym an hour to 2 hours a day, twice a day, meditating for an hour, journaling for an hour, or sticking down your business 6 hours, getting 9, 10 hours of sleep, like literally doing this perfect routine over and over again. That's probably like the peak of self improvement, and obviously the minimum, the bottom spectrum is just living like a Jeffrey, eat junk food, this body bar, porn, all of that, video games. And so once you've done this research and you've understood what the two sides of the thing you're trying to achieve is, so this could literally apply to anything. So like with business, obviously the person who works 10, 20 hours a day versus the guy who doesn't. You need to find a midpoint. You need to balance it out. So for example, the guy who's on supplement, 20 hours a day of their life, they're probably not gonna last very long, okay? Unless they've been doing it for like, let's use Hamza Ahmed for example. Unless they've been doing it for, it's been on it for like 3 years, something like that. And even he doesn't do it consistently, like to that extent. He's obviously still does the good habits, but not to the extent that I've just said, right? He obviously follows a routine, but as we've seen, he's broken off from that time to time. He's lived like a Jeffrey. And that's the whole point thing of balancing, even if he's living like a Jeffrey, he's still done bits. Look at him, he's on nearly five, he probably is on 500k now by the time this video comes out. He's making 6 figures a year minimum now. His business is gonna blow up, right? So it's literally all about balance. I know that wasn't a very good way of explaining it, but just keep in mind that if you think you're overdoing it, you probably are overdoing it. And you think you're not doing it enough, then you're probably not doing it enough. Your body has your brain has a really good way. Actually, it doesn't. It doesn't have a really good way, because you probably, why the fuck you watching this video if your brain has a really good way of telling you balance. So you probably need to be more slanted on the self-improvement side now. You probably need to work a lot harder on the self-improvement, do balls to the walls on the self-improvement, because you've been at Jeffrey for so long. Me, anyways, and I think a lot of society. But yeah, another quick video about balance. Yeah.